they should do something now and not wait. I know it's hard to do something when there's no one backing you up and when you don't have the resources to back yourself up. I know it's really difficult. I've been there and I've waited a long time and I've gone through a lot of, I'm just going to say hardship, because I didn't do anything about it and I had to go through it. Instead of dealing with the problem head on, I was dealing with everything else around me except dealing with that problem straightforward. So all my life, ever since I was a young teenager, ever since my hormones started changing, when it started, it all went downhill from there. Since I was like 14, 15, ever since then, everything went just downhill. And by the time I reached like 30, it was almost pretty much zero. What am I talking about? I'm talking about hormones. I don't know if there are a lot of people who go through this. I feel like I'm kind of the only person. I feel like I'm so different and so weird from everyone else because of this. And I don't know, I kind of feel like an alien or something at times. Well, mostly I did through my whole life. And most people don't realize how important hormones are. They actually govern your life. I know that's a very bold statement to say. But when you've been to the place of not having like any, or extremely unbalanced, or chaotic, or down to zero, pretty much what I was, and I'm only just starting to deal with it now. I've only just hit the hammer on the nail, so to speak. So it all started when I was like 14 or 15. When my hormones started changing, I noticed I wasn't, after I ate supper, I just didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit around, watch TV. Usually I would be active, I would be doing stuff, I would be like mostly cleaning and organizing. I don't know why, I spent my whole young childhood just loving to clean and organize, and I would do that all the time, and it was like fun for me. I like to do it, But then after I didn't want to do that anymore, I noticed I started gaining more weight. My digestion wasn't as efficient anymore, and I started to get depressed, go through depression. I would be hungry all the time, so I would eat more, and then I would still be hungry even though I ate, so I'd eat more again, and I could just never satisfy the hunger. When I was in my early 20s, I was so depressed and fed up with myself because I didn't know what was wrong. Whatever I ate, I couldn't digest the food. I felt like it was in my stomach all the time, and I was constipated all the time. And my hair just severely started to fall out. I had very thin hair and short hair, not like this. I had to cut it about to here because it was so thin. I started dieting so many ways because I wanted to lose weight, because I had some extra weight on me that I wanted to lose. I wasn't really overweight, but I was probably at the very top of my range. So I wanted to lose weight, and I tried all these diets, and nothing worked, and I was so depressed. I literally felt like every day was such a struggle to do anything. Just like anything, any little thing was so hard to do, especially if I had something important to do, or I had no kind of like zeal for life. I didn't want to really do anything in life. I had no enthusiasm for life. I had no self-esteem of myself. I had no confidence and all this kind of stuff. So I ended up fasting because no diet worked. I ended up fasting for 30 days. I didn't eat anything. I just drank water. And I actually managed to get through all of it. I don't know how I managed that, but I managed to get through all of it. And I was skinny at the end. I was on the lower range of my scale, but my hormones still didn't help anything at all. And then when I started to eat food again, I noticed that it wasn't helping at all either. I still couldn't digest the food. I was still getting depressed and all this. And then I started to go on a raw food diet because I heard all the benefits, and I kind of got a word about that. I felt like it would be good for me. That it would be the best thing, because that is like the most extreme diet, I think. So I said, if this doesn't work, then I don't know what is going to work, So I went on a raw food diet, but it was so hard. The first time to get on it, it was so hard, and I wasn't really prepared. Now I realize to be on a raw food diet, you have to have a lot of different ingredients. And living in Canada, I couldn't get organic, first of all, and there's not much fruits or vegetables, and most of them are not really that good because they're not brought in fresh, or there's so many apples you can eat, there's so many carrots you can eat before you need something more substantial on a raw food diet. And I did this raw food diet for a really long time. I was hungry all the time. I stayed in my weight. I definitely stayed in my weight. I didn't gain weight from it, and I was the most happiest during that time, even though I was hungry and I was freezing all the time. But I did have a bit more clarity, and I wasn't like this cloud over my head. It wasn't so depressing for me. And a couple years I was on that, just raw foods, and towards the end of those couple years, I actually gained my period back, and I would have it maybe once in a while, because all those years before, when I first started, when I was like 15, all those years I never had it. I would go to the doctor after doctor, and I never went to a so-called specialist because I didn't really know that there was one around. I didn't live near a major city, so it's not like I could really go because I was younger, and I couldn't really go off by myself, and I didn't really have the money to pay for a specialist. So I would go just to the public doctors. I would tell them, some of them thought that I was pregnant and trying to get rid of my pregnancy, so I had to get an ultrasound, make sure there wasn't anything there. Other times they thought it was clots, so I had to go get the ultrasound. There was no clots. Everything was alright with me. It was just, so what they ended up doing was giving me some birth control pills. And from everything I know about birth control pills, they didn't really work for me. And they didn't give me my period, first of all. And then because they didn't give it to me, I felt no reason why I should be still taking them, because they're not really that healthy for you, right? So I quit on those. I kept going to doctors. Some of them prescribed me antidepressants. I would take them for like 2-3 days. I saw that it didn't help me at all. It kind of gave me this weird feeling. I didn't like it. I didn't like being on them, so I didn't take them at all. The point is that they didn't get to the heart of the situation. It was just everything kind of around it. You're not dealing with the problem itself that is causing all the other problems around you. Your life depends so much on your hormones. It depends on your hormone levels. It depends on your estrogen to progesterone relationship. You know, it depends on so many things. And whether you are courageous, whether you do something in life, whether you feel like you want to live, you feel like you want to dress up, you feel like you want to get up in the morning and do something, this so much just relies on your hormones. If you don't have hormones, you're not going to want to do anything, believe me. It's going to be so hard to do anything. And it's for yourself, you're never going to get around to dealing with yourself. You're going to do stuff maybe for other people, but to get to yourself, to actually do something for yourself, you're going to be like, no, I'm too tired for myself. I'm just not going to do anything because I'm just way too tired to do anything. I don't have enough energy to spend time on myself. I'll only do it if I have to do it, not if I want to do it. Okay, yeah, so it depends so much on, like, every choice you make in your life depends on your hormones. Like, you're going to make a choice, for example, from your confidence level. Your hormones, the more higher your hormones are, the more confidence you have. People think they have confidence from other things that they don't. Like, I can tell you exactly because I know where I've been just a few months ago, and I know where I am right now. And like I said, I only just hit the hammer on the nails. I'm not even fully there. I just started with something that I'm going to tell you, which to my younger self, I like to give advice to do this. Because you don't want to wait. No, you think it's going to get better. You think there's another answer. But deep down, you know what the answer is. You know that you might have a problem in this area. Just because you're young, just because you haven't hit, like, menopause, just because you're not 60 years old or 50 or whatever, doesn't mean anything. Especially today, all the stuff that's, you know, in this world, everything that's going around, food especially, people have high metabolisms or low metabolisms because it's their hormone levels that give them that. If your hormones are not balanced, they can't help to make other hormones. And those, like, everything is like a chain like that, you know, and you have to start from your hormones. If you want to be happy in life, you have to start from your hormones. And I'm not talking about taking artificial hormones, because birth control pills are artificial hormones. They are not naturally derived hormones. I had my period, like, my whole time growing up. I would go to doctors and I tell them, oh, I don't have my period, and they would be like, what do you mean, when was the last time you had it? I didn't have it. The last time I had it was when I was like 15, and I first got it. That was the last time I had it. And they don't believe me, because it's so bizarre. And it's like, if I'm not, what's that, there's a term for when you never got your period, even as you were young, when you broke into puberty, you've never had it. There's a term to that. And if I'm not that, they won't take me seriously. Other than that, they don't really take me seriously. I spent, when I was, I think I was like 24 or something like that, I went to a specialist in a major city, and I waited for her months, almost a year. I waited such a long time to get an appointment with her because she was with public health. And basically, I was so, like, nervous in the waiting room. I was shaking. I was nervous. And basically, she told me that I was lucky to not be getting my period. I swear, that's what she told me. And then she started telling me about women who get their period, that it's so heavy and you know, that's the worst of it. But because you don't get it, oh, that doesn't matter. It's okay. You know, like, oh, you're fine. She didn't take me seriously at all. I was so disappointed. I thought that was the point of my turning around my situation, and it wasn't. And I had to kind of, like, hound her down. She left me. She didn't give me a prescription. I had to keep calling, and then I had to go pick up a prescription she gave me, and it was for some birth control pill. And yes, I started taking that one. Even though I was not sexually active, and I don't know why. I don't understand, why would I have to be taking a birth control pill if I'm not sexually active? I'm not trying to get not pregnant, you know. So I ended up taking those birth control pills, and they helped me actually get my period. But it wasn't a full. I could feel that it was so artificial. It didn't feel good at all either. I was on those for a little bit, but I ended up throwing them away too, and keep looking. I was still searching. So what I ended up doing at the very end was I found a specialist who is not with public health, who I had to pay a lot of money to make the appointment, and then to get the test, a proper saliva test, because your doctors may give you a blood test. You cannot read hormones through a blood test. You can't. They'll say your hormone levels are fine. They say that you can check your hormone levels through a blood test, but it doesn't pick up. I don't know why they do this. I don't know, but it doesn't pick up. The proper way to pick up hormones is through a saliva test. So that's what I did. I was given a kit for 30 days. So every 3 days, I would take my saliva in the morning, and after those 30 days, I sent all my samples to a laboratory, and that laboratory sent back the results to my doctor, and the doctor to get the results from the laboratory, and then I had to wait again to make an appointment with another doctor who could actually transcribe, that could actually make a prescription for me, so that I can buy these hormones that are not covered by insurance. And that's what I did. So I ended up having a pretty full credit card. But you know what? That's the thing. It's worth it. You know, life doesn't really exist without hormones. You want to be like an old elderly person without any hormones, with no life? Go ahead. Don't go to a specialist. Don't spend your whole life just waiting for something to happen. Because I've been on the most severe diets. I've been on a fasting diet without any food, just water. And it didn't help. I went on a raw food diet for years. And it did. And that is the only thing that actually helped a little. But I wasn't at my best health. I was very weak. My hair was severely falling out, severely thin. Mind you, I'm not saying raw food diet is bad. I love the raw food diet, but I didn't have the resources to be so raw and eat all this raw food, and I only had a few things that I could eat raw, and they were not satisfying. And I didn't have much of those, because on a raw food diet you have to eat a lot of raw foods to be satisfied, because it goes through your system very fast. And the only time that I started to get my period on the raw food diet was when I was in Mexico, where you can probably tell there was a lot of fresh, delicious like fresh fruits and vegetables that taste really good. And then you have the sun, and then you have the beautiful ocean, and the air, and all this kind of stuff. It really helps balance your whole body. So that was when I first noticed that I was actually getting my periods a little bit every month. No, like every few months I would get it. But eventually I had to come back to Canada, and it was, I was wanting to get pregnant. I couldn't get pregnant for a pretty long time, like about 2 years, I would say. I was trying to get pregnant, and then I ended up taking thyroid pills that I think really helped me in hormones and stuff, but it didn't help me completely. It just helped me that I would be able to get pregnant. The one thing that I want to say that is like so ironic and just makes me so mad is that I waited. Every time I go to the doctor, they say, when I went to the specialist that was public health in the main city, she said that, oh, just wait till you have a baby, everything's going to balance off, and you're going to get your periods, you're going to be all, like everything's going to be wonderful after that happens, and that's not true at all. And I went to so many doctors, they told me the same thing. Oh, just wait till you, have a baby or something. So when I had my first baby, I'm like, okay, I don't feel any different. Where is the difference? I'm like, okay, maybe I'm going to have my second baby. So I had a second baby, and no, nothing happened. Nothing is going to happen in your life until you actually go after it. It's not going to magically happen. I mean, if it does, that's so great for you. Like, I'm really happy for you. But don't be one of those people that waited and didn't do anything, and because of resources or because of money or because of anything. It's your life, it's your happiness. You have to go after it yourself. So I just really want to encourage someone. I know this is not a really exciting topic or anything like that, but it's about helping people, and it's about giving advice to people. And whether you're younger version, or whether you're like 30, but just don't wait till your whole young life is when you have the most vigor, you have the most energy and everything. Don't wait for it to pass you by before you do something, before you're like, oh, now they're gonna give it to me because now I'm in my 40s, 50s, 60s, and now I can't have menopause. Now menopause is not just for older women. Menopause, it's not, it's all the stipulation that it's an older woman kind of thing, but it's not. It's about hormone deficiency, hormone depletion, imbalance. That's why you stop getting your period. But if you never really had your period, it's like you were in menopause when you were like 16 or 20 or 25. It's not worth it. It really is not worth it. Okay, so the big doctor, who's the specialist that I went to, it's what's the name now? Another thing is foggy memory. If you have foggy memory, you can't remember or anything like that, that's hormone imbalance. If you have a lot of water retention, like I did, I would be bloated all the time. They say I drink a lot of water. Well, I would drink a lot of water and I would be bloated. I mean, salt has nothing to do with it. If you're bloated, then your hormones are out of whack. Well, that's what they were for me. I'm not saying that's for everybody, because hormone irregularities are different for everybody. So the doctor that I went to was a bioidentical hormone doctor. He gives bioidentical hormones. So I had a consultation. He made me go on a diet and buy a lot of stuff that I don't really like to buy a lot of supplements anymore, because all my life I've dealt with supplements, I've dealt with special diets, I've gone to the extreme, and it didn't help me to what they should have helped me. So for him to tell me, oh, it's your diet, it's like a slap in the face, because I'm like, okay, I'll take the diet, thank you. I hope for your sake it's going to work, because I know probably it's not going to work. Anyways, I was on the diet. It didn't help me. In fact, it set me off. It was very difficult, because he put me back on cooked food. And as soon as I eat cooked food, I get so hungry, and then I gain weight, and then I get depressed because my digestion doesn't work the way it should. So it's just like a bad cycle that I didn't want to get into. So he put me on this, he put me on a special protein powder. That made me really hungry and made me gain some weight, and I didn't like myself at all for that. I was just waiting when the results are going to come back for the saliva test for him to actually see that I'm serious and what I think to believe me when I say that my hormones are like not anything there at all. So when I had my follow-up appointment with him, he checked my hormones, and it was so funny because he was like looking at me like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm good. This is what I always say. You always say I'm fine. Even if you're dying, you'll be like, I'm good, doctor. I'm here. I'm at the emergency room, but I'm just so good. I'm happy. Yeah. And the doctor comes in, oh, how are you? And you're like, I'm good. I got a broken arm, but other than that, I'm really good. So you just get used to saying I'm good all the time, because nobody really believes you anyways. So when he asked me, like, how are you? And I said, I'm fine. I'm good. He was like looking at these like results. He's like, really? I don't think so. And then he started to tell me about them. And I don't have the sheets here, but the results were basically estrogen was so low. It was barely line. You could hardly, you have your flat line here, like your graph, and then the estrogen was like almost like touching the bottom line. But on the graph, the low part of the estrogen is like here, right? And then the higher part is like over here or something like that. So it was way below the low range of estrogen. And progesterone was even worse. It was like so almost touching, like the line is too fat, because otherwise it would be like so close touching to the bottom. Testosterone was so low that the machine couldn't even pick it up. And then cortisone was, well, no kidding, you feel so much stress because your cortisone hormones are so low, like mine, they were below the low range as well. So every hormone was just barely, just zero-ish, I guess, but I actually started with the natural hormone replacement therapy. I can't say for sure exactly the results, because I've only been taking it a few days now, and I can tell you that I feel much better, but I haven't started on the progesterone yet, because the progesterone you start taking from the 14th to the 25th, and the estrogen you take from the 1st to the 25th, I think. So now I'm just on the estrogen, and it's a cream that you can put on your wrist, or you can put it at the back of your arms, or just anywhere that has like very thin skin, like the inside of your legs. That's where usually I put it, just because I have children, so I don't want it to rub off onto them. And I can tell you, just from the few days that I've been taking it, maybe it's been like 4 days now, I can tell a difference just from the few days. I mean, first of all, the things that I can tell the difference is I feel like I'm more happier. Like I'm just more satisfied with life. I'm not as depressed anymore. I feel like I want to do things. I definitely don't feel as hungry. For sure, I don't feel as hungry anymore. Um, if this has helped anyone, I would love to hear a comment from you. I would love to hear, if this has helped you. Because this is what I would have loved to hear. I would have loved to tell myself, go to this specialist, hormone replacement therapy, natural hormone replacement therapy for progesterone and estrogen. Go to get your test done. I know it's expensive. I know it may be out of your way or something, but it's worth it. It's worth it. You are worth it. Your life is worth it. So I really urge anyone out there that actually happens to see this video, I so much urge you to go and get your hormones done or tested, because you have to know, like, you have to deal with it. You're still young. You still have a lot of life in you, even if you're not like young, even if you're not in your 30s, even if you're not in your 40s. You're still young. You're still a woman. You still deserve hormones, and men too. You still deserve a life. Doesn't matter what age you are. You still deserve to be happy. You still deserve to be sharp. You still deserve to be womanly. You still deserve to, be able to give more to others. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't really take care of others, and you can't send off good vibes to other people. You can't treat people better. You can't be more patient. You can't be more kind. You can't be so many things. Hormones really help us in life, and we need to understand that. And I just want people to be more aware of that. That it doesn't start when you're 50 or 60. It can start as soon as you get your period. I mean, I should have been I would have probably, when I was like 20, I should have gone to this specialist that I ended up going to, what I was telling you, a public specialist, when I waited for like 10 months for, and I thought that was the point, my changing point, but it wasn't. Life isn't meant to be so pressure on your shoulders, and it's not meant to be depressing. People have depression around themselves, but they don't feel depressed because they are imbalanced in themselves, and they don't feel like they don't have any control over their life. You have the power to make a change in your life, but if you're not given the right ingredients, I'm going to use that word, you're not going to make a change. You're not going to be able to do much in your life. You're not going to be able to take risks. You're not going to be able to accomplish much. You're not going to be happy about yourself. You're not going to be able to be the best version of yourself that you can be if your hormones are not there, or if they're extremely out of whack, or just depleted, or for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why it was like that for me. But you just take it and you deal with it, and that's how life is. I wanted to share, so I really do hope if you see this video that you give it a thumbs up, so I know that someone's actually saw it and liked it and thinking about doing it for themselves. This was a hard video to make. It was definitely a personal subject. The reason why I now have hair like this, if you're asking, is because I basically had 2 babies in a row. And anyone knows who's had a baby, your hormone levels rise. So my hair became very thick and long because I spent like almost 18 months in pregnancy, almost one after the other. It was very soon after my first child that I was pregnant again. And that's how I was able to get pregnant, was from the thyroid pills, I believe, that really helped me, because it helps with your thyroid hormones. Your hormones are connected to, thyroid are connected to all your other hormones. So, and that's when I first started to get my period a little bit. That's how I was able to get like thick, long hair like this. And there's other things that I actually do to get my hair thicker and longer now. This is nowhere near the thickness that my hair was when I was in my second pregnancy. At the very end, I had such thick hair, long like this, long and thick like this, and a lot of it came out when I gave birth to my second son. A lot of it came out. So hormones are definitely, because the hormones went back down again. I wasn't pregnant anymore. They all plummeted like a diver. So there's a couple few things that I do to make my hair kind of be stronger now. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say, oh, this works and this works to make your hair grow. No, because if your building blocks, your foundation is your hormone. If your foundation is not there, there's nothing to grow upon. You can do many things to your hair. You can do benefits, but it's only gonna be like 1% of the 100% that you need. You need a foundation of stable hormones that are actually within the range. You have to deal with what you've been given. And if you do many things like diet, exercise, changing your mindset, changing the way you feel about things, that's so important. The way you feel about them is the way they're going to come back and counteract on your body. Like so many things that you have to deal with. If you've done all those things and it's still not helping, you're only changing a few percentages up. Your diet, you get maybe a few points up, but you have to get to the 100%. Anyway, I've been talking for a long time now. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a crazy video. I don't know how I'm going to edit or upload this video, but anyways, that's it for my video. I really hope this helped somebody, and yeah, that's everything I wanted to say. If you want to ask me anything, I'd be so happy to give an answer back to you. If you just want to say hi, if you just want to give me a thumbs up, if you just want to say anything, anything, I'll be so happy to receive a message from anyone.